Have you had the hypnotist over the weekend, Dennis, to erase the memory of the players from that
Yeah,
game?
well, no, I think it was always nice to have a good reflection. And I came in on a Saturday morning, there was some miserable faces, and we just I thought I'd let them hold on to it for a couple of days. I knew I was going to, so then we have to move on. It's one of those, like, reflect on it, and you can't win a game with 45% of completion rate at this level, and that's where we were. We had a completion rate for the game at 45%, and that's pretty flattering actually, because 3 or 4 of those sets we get penalties in to double up our sets. So, like I say, if you're looking at actual sets that we completed, you're looking below 40%, and it's you're gonna run out of energy. You have no fatigue elements. We'll play a big part in it, and then on the back of dropping the ball, we gave penalties away. Frustration with ourselves, and then a little bit of frustration with some of the calls, and that it just crept. What was most disappointing was we worked pretty hard on trying to snap ourselves back into shape, how to reset ourselves, whether it be from a kick receive, whether it be from the start of a next set on the back of a penalty, what our reset mindset is like, how positive we need to be, and how good that next set has to be. And we've worked pretty hard, and then we've been pretty good at it. And then all that seemed just to fall away on Friday night.
I suppose you've got to look at it that the performance was a bit of a, well, it looks like a one-off. We hope it's a one-off, I suppose, don't you?
We hope, yeah.
But in recent weeks, your performances have been generally, even the games where you've lost, your performances have been competitive. So you've got to kind of just put it behind you.
There's been very few games this year when we've not competed. I know we lost a couple of games, some big scores, but that's generally down to some injury elements, and having a very young side out on the weekend like that. That's the first time this year where I've picked a really strong side. We've gone there with a real positive few weeks behind us, and then just failed to perform. And it's mostly, like I say, they score some tries, but it's on the back of double penalties and repeat sets, and us dropping ball and having no ball for long periods. They don't do anything to us when they're coming out of their half. They don't cause us lots of problems with some ball movement. We invite them into our 20 on the back of drop ball or errors and penalties, and then they just stay there for a little bit and score points. It was actually like some kind of training session where we were trying to put ourselves under pressure defensively to see what we could do, and we defensively broke.
Injuries coming out of that game, Dennis. I think Lloyd had something.
Yeah, Lloyd White's pulled his pec. We're having it scanned, and hopefully it's not going to be too serious, but it's a 2 to 3 week minimum, or hopefully that's what we're looking at. But until we've had the scan, we don't know. Other than that, just some bruised egos and some people feeling really sorry for themselves, me included.
A few of the people who missed out on Friday available this week, like Eamon and Alex.
Eamon and Alex are both available, yeah.
And are you tempted to get them straight back in after that performance?
Well, no, well, it's hard to just change it, because I thought that our front rows went all right. And always, again, it's really hard to sit here when all anybody sees is 40 points to nil. But some of our best players on the field were our front rowers. They did some things wrong, but they also had a massive amount of effort and work rate. So it's hard to want to make those changes just because you feel it's through poor performances. I don't think it was massively poor performance. And I ain't got 17 blokes to change.
Wakefield this week, Dennis, and you're back at home, your last home game of the season until the regular season, and still a chance to get to the top 10. If you win both your games, there's still a genuine chance. Yeah. So you need a response to that.
I think whether we look where we are is where we are. Right? We're in the bottom 4, and on the back of a massive effort up until Wigan, and a huge emotional effort and physical effort at Wigan, and coming away with nothing. Might have had a bit of a knock-on effect this week, but we've got to look at, and it's a cliched element, but we've got to go one game at a time, and we've got to look at performance after performance. And like I say, what we want is we want to finish this first part of the season on our home ground with a positive, which we've done over the last 2 or 3 performances here. So we want a real positive element going into that bottom 8 stuff, and then, because we're not in control, all we can do is win our games. Catalans have got to do what they've got to do. And if we'll end up where we end up, hopefully, if we can win these 2 games, push ourselves into 10th spot if Catalan don't win any games. So we've got to look at, we're in the bottom 4, we've got to go there with a positive mindset, change the way we go about these next 3 weeks and build towards how tough that challenge is going to be.
Wakefield continue to do well, don't they? I think people keep expecting them to kind of fall off the perch somehow, but they continue to do well and get wins regularly and are always competitive every week.
Oh, they've been great this year. They've been fantastic, fabulous in like the way they play. They've had some fantastic wins. They've been really competitive, and like I say, they're pushing that top half of the table really hard, and it's good to see. And like I say, Chris has gone there, his chest has gone there and done a fabulous job. He's given them some belief. He's had a nice settled squad, and even when he's had to make some changes, the lads who've come in have done a really good job for him. So you've got to give a lot of credit to how they've gone this year and say, give them a big pat on the back. But we'll be looking at ourselves. We know that they're going to throw the ball around. That's the way they play. They've got a couple of forwards that like to offload. They've got forwards that can break the line. They've also got some real pace in their team, in both their wingers. So and Scott Griggs is a smart footballer as well. So it's going to be a challenge to us, but we're on our home ground. We're expecting a response off last week's performance, and we've got to find a way of moving ourselves onto that next step to get positive for what's to come.
You gave a bit of news on player recruitment or player retention last week, didn't you? Randy Chase signing and Danny Walker signing a deal. I presume you've got other irons in the fire as well. Is there particular areas of the team you're looking to strengthen for 2018?
Well, I think we've got to look at the fact that Chris Bridge and Corey Thompson are leaving, so our edges are pretty important, centres and also another back rower. But yeah, we're looking to put ourselves in the marketplace for good players. I say, well, specifically what we're looking at here, we're looking at back rowers and centres. They're the players that we need to bring into the side. But yeah, a good player for fantastic from row became available, and we'd be in a market for him, and we'd cut our cloth accordingly with the rest of our group. But Christine would have played a massive part for us this year in both the centres and back row positions, and not played all year. So we've got some players that we've got coming back into that group next year that are going to strengthen us.
Just on the injury front, no Reece, I presume, still is there this week for a few weeks, is it still?
No, he's starting to